So we're trying this live thing again, right? And what happens? Internet problems. Go figure. First time we've tried to do the live in a while. But you know what? My guest, she's going to work through it. She's got the big guy on her side, so she's going to do her very best, and she's going to work through it. So, hey, we have put out a video the last couple of days, and we could desperately use your help. If you can use the QR code up above you and help us out, either by using the Community Pay It Forward program, which of course is just shopping with any of our partners, turning in a receipt, or this is the only form that you will see this. There is a place for PayPal. And if you can support our Community Dare to Care mission, that is our Freed of All mission. We don't charge for people. We don't charge anybody to come in and, we give away clothing, food, housewares, whatever is needed. It's getting close to school time. We're going to need people to help us by, we're going to be doing a school drive here pretty soon with a lot of wonderful people. We're going to be talking about that here real soon on how you can be part of Community Dare to Care in your area and make a huge difference for teachers in your area. So get ready for that. But if you can spare $2, $10, $5, whatever, dollars and help us help others, I would greatly appreciate it. All you got to do is scan that code and find out more. If you would like to talk to us, there is a place that you can just reach out to me right there on that code. The QR code, of course, is also, once again, you can get to the Community Pay It Forward program there. You shop with any of our sponsors, any of our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful giving partners. shop with any of them. Just give us the receipt and they're going to give us a portion to help us continue. So I know that's a little heavy handed and I'm coming at you like going, help me, help me. But, we all need a little bit of help. That's what this is all about. So we also want to thank the Colorado Grit for a wonderful, wonderful weekend, partly because they helped a fat old man see hockey again, even in the middle of the hot, hot summer. He got to come in and watch a little bit of hockey and have a lot of fun. He also got to take his two of his grandkids to go see their first ever hockey game. Granddaughter loved the fight. There was one fight. She absolutely loved the fight. Grandson, he loved the hockey. He loved the action. He loved getting to learn more. He was up there slapping the glass and having a lot of fun. So you know what? Colorado Grit, I'm going to be talking to them soon. Hopefully, you're going to see a lot more interaction between Community Pay It Forward and the Grit. So, I love that team. They're our hometown team. They're about ready to begin their second year. We're getting excited because, it's hockey. So, and anybody who knows me knows I love hockey. I also want to thank Jill E. Schultz for being a sponsor to the Pack Channels. Everything that we do is, hello, Ghost. Everything that we do is because of people like Jill E. Schultz. She helps us out by being a sponsor of the channel. She's helping us keep the lights on and keep the StreamYard going and keeping everything working. So if you would like to join Jill and become a sponsor, or if you want to join our show and tell your story, simply scan the code. You scan the code, you come on and join the show, tell your story. We're looking for people who are looking to make life better for others. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce somebody to. You're going to get to know her pretty much at the same time I am. I haven't really had much of a chance to talk to her. We were supposed to record this morning, and that weather stuff. Weather. What do you know? But she's here now, and she is a brand new mission partner. We are thrilled to have her in. Now, if you scan that code right there, you can support our friend, j.kaleigh.rogers. How you doing, sweetie?
Hi. Thank you so much for all of the goodness, because I'm here in Arizona. I live in the desert. We don't have much rain, but of course, rain would disrupt internet. Go figure. So thank you for your flexibility.
Hey, you know what? As I was trying to, as I've been trying to tell you, our goal is to make sure that, we get your message out. You have a lot of things going on, and I think your story is going to help so many people because, and we talk a lot about different issues that different people have. One of the great things about being individuals is that every single one of us has different issues we have to work through. But having somebody there who can help us work through it is so important.
Yeah.
Kaleigh, tell us a little bit about Broken Arrow Wranglers, and then I want you to tell us a little bit later about Shine His Light LLC.
Oh, you are fabulous, Zach. I want to start with my own personal journey. So I'm a human just like everybody else, but I've experienced some tremendous adversity, things I didn't choose, things that just came, and it impacted my brain, my body, my spirit. So it left me with complex PTSD. And most of my life, I didn't even know that that's what I was experiencing until I hit grad school and went, that sounds very familiar, huh? This is fascinating that this is what's going on with me. And my healing journey really started when I met God when I was a kid. Thank God he was there, even in all the midst of this suffering. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking in front of you. I would be another statistic for sure. But he's walked with me, and then my healing journey continued. And it's funny that he could take a small town West Virginia girl and make her a trauma therapist who herself has walked with PTSD. like who else can create a story like that? But as I was walking through all my journey, I worked in domestic violence shelters and facilities that help teens that already had attempted suicide or overdosed, harmed somebody else in the community. They weren't even at risk, like they were risk. Um, and as I was working there, I would see all the ways that the system would fail to help people. It could be insurance, it could be cost, it could even be modalities. There was like this ceiling that would happen and people could only get so far. And I said, well, that's not okay. That's no good. So I'm always reaching for social justice that things get better. But I found, I could do a lot of help for the clients that I saw, like one-on-one with a therapist. Oh, it does amazing things. Like God tells us in Proverbs, seek godly counsel. Like life gets better when you seek people that help with you and walk with you. But I could only go so far with the people I met. Like they would meet me and know that their therapist cared about them, but they were like, nah, the rest of humanity, I don't think so. So we would get to again like this door and then couldn't cross the threshold. And I realized how much people need community. Like I myself needed community. And when someone's been abused, neglected, they don't trust other humans, they're terrified to enter community with other people. So Broken Arrow Wranglers came out of that. Like we needed, not only for ourselves or the people we served, a safe hub, a safe community where people were loved just as they are. They could come and hang. And we found horses at that time, as well as now, they really are the gateway to that. Horses keep us honest and they draw us together in all kinds of things happen when we get together in our community to heal.
Kaleigh, let me ask you this real quick. Why is it that some people can, I hope she's coming right back. Let me go on ahead and while she's reconnecting here, I'm going to share with you their page. This is their page on our landing site. You can see Broken Arrow Wranglers, 501c3, and Shine as Light, LLC. Up here, if you use any of these little code, these little doodads up here, whatever they're called, I'm sorry, but they're links. You got everything from their Facebook page, their whatever that one is, Instagram. I don't know why I can never remember Instagram, to LinkedIn. Okay, well, we see the back of something. That's nice. There we go. But it's all good, Kaleigh. Don't get too up about it.
Oh my
But
God.
you can also see this is Kaleigh's personal LinkedIn page, and they're alignable. We don't have the little symbol for alignable, so that's what that is. But all you have to do is go on here and you can learn a little bit more. You can go to the website, you can check it out. Okay. You can make a direct donation to brokenarrowwranglers.com. But this is an important thing here, okay? If you click on this button, it goes directly to their landing page, their website, okay? We don't have anything to do with their money. So that's very important for me to share with you guys. Their donations, when you make a donation to them, you make a donation to them. We don't take anything from that. That's not our responsibility. We don't want to touch their money. We just want your receipts. That's all we want. And every time that you make a purchase from any of our partners and you use Broken Arrow's QR code, they get a portion of every sale. So please, please, please get out there, make those purchases through any of our community pay it forward partners. And all you got to do is come on to this page, scan the QR code. It'll take you to the mission or to the giving partners, or it'll take you to a place where you can tell us what you need to do. You need a carpenter. Tell us you need a carpenter. We'll try to find you a carpenter. When that happens, we get a referral and we give at least 75% of that referral to Kaleigh and Broken Arrow Wranglers. Okay, Kaleigh, we got you back. So it is what it is. My question for you is, what is it that makes certain people strong and certain people lose their way?
Oh, man. What a loaded question, Zach,
It
man.
is.
It's disputed, right? Throughout history, like all the last thousands of years, people will wonder, well, why did Bob land in this position where he's strong, he's capable, he's purposeful, but then Jim is like, I just want out of this life, like, get me out of here, right? So there's, like all the scientific stuff that I could talk about first. We look at people's upbringing, someone that has a foundation in their family and in their life, like they get a pretty good picture of who they are, what life is all about, that yes, tough things are going to happen, but if you stay anchored to a sense of community, who you are, to God, you're going to be okay. And then there's a subset of people, this is most of the people I work with, their entire upbringing is just chaos. They haven't had a one safe person that they know loves them as they are or isn't going to hurt them. And so when someone grows up that way, they hit even harder storms in life. It's kind of like the boat of life. They already have a bunch of holes in it, and then a big storm comes and the ship's going to sink. So trauma has a huge, huge impact. But I'd also say like temperament and worldview really matter. So someone like myself, where like I know evil exists and I know horrible things are going to happen regardless of what I do, and I know the end game in mind, I can weather the storms a lot easier than someone that, it's hard for them to understand why they're here or why life is the way that it is. So something then comes and like the boat capsizes.
Oh, no. Oh, that was such a good story too. But that's okay. She's still working. We're still going to get this. We're going to get this figured out. We're going to have a conversation with Kaleigh. I'm telling you. Right here is the Broken Arrow. It's the web page. Okay, and look, this is about Kaleigh is a women's. She works with the women, but as you can see, there is a men's sacred circle, hallelujah retreat, and it's all about horses. It looks like, Kaleigh, you guys are equine therapy, I take it.
Yeah, so it's interesting. My story around horses as well is pretty fascinating. I worked in community mental health and I got severely burnt out. I was working from my own spirit and not the spirit of God. So I was in a tough place, and something told me, get around horses, get around horses. I got a random invite to a pilot program, showed up on a Saturday morning, and the horse they put in the round pen named Tango was just booking it as fast as he could. Like, he's so anxious and freaked out. And within 15 minutes of them working with this horse, all of us in the bleachers were in tears. Like, we watched this horse be terrified of another person and then be able to take a deep breath and let it all go. So there's something about horses. They're honest when people aren't. They sync up with our heartbeats and help us be calm. They draw the things out from inside of us we try to hide. Horses are absolutely the gate. So it's one of the many things that I do is I work in partnership with horsemen, horsewomen, and horses. They are the best partners to have, to be honest. And we help people heal. But I do work with all around. So I work with women, I work with men, I work with youth, veterans, and then I have a special passion for the criminal justice population. In particular, those that have been or are incarcerated. Our community is really against child abuse, as we should be, but then we look at our prisons and they're all adults that have experienced childhood abuse. So when we treat that system as a trauma-informed system, things actually get better.
I think a lot of times as a society that we do forget that, a lot of times the difference between somebody who's been convicted of something and somebody who hasn't is the convicted person got caught. We've all done things in our lives that are not up to our own standards. We've all done made stupid decisions at some point in time. Okay. And a lot of times, the only difference is they got caught. We didn't. And we need to remember that just because somebody has made a bad decision in a moment does not make them a bad person. And when they come out, if we shun them, we're not doing any good. We're taking somebody who could be a very, very lucrative piece of the community, and we're discounting them. We're throwing them away, and that it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, and you know, look, I think anybody who's out there and willing to try needs to have that opportunity to do so. So, you guys are obviously very religious based. Tell me about the program and tell me about what are some of the first things you do when somebody comes to you.
I love you asked me two questions at the same time. The first one you mentioned, it's funny, the word religion. That was actually just talked about in the church service I was at yesterday, that we tend to be known as the rebels for Jesus, as opposed to kind of like the Pharisee, follow religion, because ultimately we really are just in relationship with a loving God who created us and walking with him. That being said, everybody is welcome. Like the people that come to our experiences, we don't ask them, so what do you believe? And then like, you can't come. That is not us. But we do ask because regardless if someone has faith or non-faith, it shapes how they see the world and how they see themselves. And so if we can't incorporate who someone is and their spiritual person into the conversation, we miss the mark. But every time someone comes in, Sean, the other lead in the nonprofit, he describes it really well. We look at the landscape of what their healing would be. So just like a guide might guide someone through a hiking trail, we look and we go, okay, well, this person, and they've experienced chronic exposure to stress, so their body's breaking down. They really do need like a special doctor that specializes in autoimmune disease. So we've got one of those. Or their body's just so tense up, they need someone to help them release. Well, we've got a yoga person right there. They need a one-day retreat to just get away and engage in holistic therapies. They need a longer-term program for PTSD. They come see me. So we gauge that at the forefront, and we do it through conversation, because we too know what that's like. Like I know what it's like to experience all of those things. And so when I'm talking to someone, I just immediately know. It's like trauma survivors speak the same language, if that makes sense.
Yeah. One of the things that you and I are working on, which is just so important, is that if we together can put together $7,500, that would help immediately 5 low-income women access healing, led by you. That
yes,
when I saw that, it was one of the things that really made it important that we don't scare you off, that we make sure that you stay with the program, because treatment should not be dictated by financial ever. Yep. If somebody gets lost in the shuffle because they didn't have money, it's a system that's broken badly.
Yes, sir. Oh, you nailed it. Like every single word, Zach. Oh my God, I love you, brother. Like every single thing you just said, because how not okay it is that we say, look, healing's right here. Oh, but like the door's shut because you can't afford it. Like that's just wrong. So we made a commitment that everybody should be able to access it. So a lot of people I just see obediently. I have several people I see weekly or monthly for therapy, and they can't afford it at all, but I just see them. And then when I'm funded, there we go. It's a risky way to work, and you hit a wall at some point, but how can you say no to people that trust you and work with you and want to keep seeing you? So that 7,500 for those women in particular, these are women that are really hiding in the shadows of their life. Like they're experiencing anguish alone because they are terrified to engage in relationship with others. So they're not connected in a life group. They may not have a large system of friends. There may be fractures and frays in their marriage or their relationships. And to come into a safe space like the healing intensive, they can reconcile all of that fear. I'm a nationally certified trauma therapist. I don't always lead with that, but I know how to help someone when they don't know how to trust anybody anymore. And I know how to help someone when they say, how can I believe in a good God when my baby died? Like, how does that make sense? I know what to do with all of that. And it's unfortunate that most of our society doesn't. We've kind of gotten off of how to really sit and be with people. And I found that when my brother died in grief, I've experienced a lot of grief in my life, but this last one in 2022, it was almost like the world got back to normal after 2 weeks. A lot of people were like, well, how are you doing? I was like, terrible. Like 2 weeks is nothing. I'm just now coming to my senses that this even exists, that this is the new frontier of my life for the duration of it. It would make a tremendous difference for these women, and it's in person. And then there's also lifelong resources for them, like video content and exercises to help their body continue to heal.
You know, and I don't want to discount men and what they go through and by any means, because I know for a fact what men have to go through, but we as a society put so much, we're kind of in a, well, we're not kind of in a, we're in a situation where women aren't expected to be able to do all the things that men are able to do. Yet when something traumatic happens, we expect them to be able to snap back and, hey, your mom,
right,
get back at this. What are you doing? You don't have time to do this. Your mom, you're superwoman. Yet we still treat women in a lot of cases like they're second-hand citizens, which is just outrageously stupid. I'll just say it in my mind. That puts more pressure on women, doesn't it?
It does. You hit two different fronts, actually. So the first front, I tend to find this as well, women that have experienced a lot of trauma early on, they have kids young, and then they're being a mom, right? So they're doing the best they can as a parent and as a human. And usually around their 30s and 40s, things really start to break down. So a lot of times that's their entry point into therapy, and they see me and they go, am I broken? I can't do it anymore. Like, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, well, actually, your body has been dealing with like actual poison in it. Like, too much cortisol is poison for our body. And so naturally, yes, it's shutting down. It's not because you did anything wrong. It's the nature of the physiology of your body. But then I also see this with men and boys in particular. My specialty in residential care was actually teen boys. And I can't tell you, probably all of them at this point have been told, buck it up, rub dirt on the wound, like you're the man of the house, you've got to get it together. I just recently met a young man who had a really significant loss in his life, a suicide. And about 50 people the day after the funeral texted him, well, be strong, you're the man of the house. And I'm like, you're 12 years old. Like, one, you can never be the man of the house, but two, you're just trying to process your own loss. Like, how not okay that is. Like, that's not okay. And so we see generations of men with that same mentality, being told and taught, be emotionless, be stoic. You can't be able to process any of these things. And then we find men that are blank walls. They don't know how to access themselves or get intimate with a person emotionally. And there's so much more on the other side of that. There's so much more.
What is it about us that thinks that we can take and put our values, our ability to cope on someone else? What is it about us that thinks that we can force somebody else to, I was able to get back to work the next day. What's your problem? What is it about us that thinks that other people ought to live the life that we live?
Where we're not facing reality. We're not facing the reality that actual suffering exists everywhere and it knows many faces. Most of us in America, we don't want to know that that's next door. Like, that's right there. There's a book I'm reading right now. Oh, it's fantastic. It's called Suffering in the Heart of God. And at the beginning, she talks about, this is back in like the 1800s, early 1900s, there was a church on top of a slavery dungeon. And the people would go to church and they'd help and whatever, but there was never any of this bleed over between people that are enslaved underneath, and how not okay that is. So I think there's plenty of times in our society where we've been taught, if you're strong enough, if you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you're going to be fine. But to a traumatized mind and body, it isn't a matter of will and character. And I actually have to undo that with a lot of the people that I see. They go, well, I must just be screwed up, Kaleigh. I just couldn't do it. And I tell them, I said, it wasn't you. Like, how are you going to lift 500 pounds when you don't have the muscle to lift 500 pounds? And it's not because you're weak. It's because by design, trauma cripples us. So yeah, I think it's a lot of times we're scared to see the reality that we live in a really, really broken world, and there's tons of people that need help. Because if we don't see that, then we can go about our daily lives. We can go to work, and we can get married, we can have kids, and we can build programs. When we really see that the world is as broken as it is, we kind of got to do something about it.
You know, when we were talking about moms just a couple minutes ago, I did want to take and reiterate something that we have learned before. Moms, when you're in a situation where you feel the way that Kaleigh was talking about, I think one of the most important things that you can do to make sure that that you keep yourself at yourself is, remember, you can put the baby down. You can walk away for a minute. You know, when you're stressed, you need to walk away. Make sure, you know, have somebody that you can call, have somebody. And I know that's difficult sometimes, but you know, there are certain things that you cannot walk away from at a certain point in time. Okay. You cannot walk away from actions. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you tell yourself and you train yourself to, hey, you know what? The baby's crying. I can put the baby in the crib. I can walk outside, get a breath of fresh air, smoke a cigarette, whatever you got to do. Don't smoke a cigarette. But you can go out and smoke a cigarette, do whatever you got to do, and then take the breath, come back to the baby. The baby's going to be fine. Okay? Don't think you've got to hover. Like the horses, this child could be feeling you and your angst, and the baby's just reacting to the way you're feeling. So just that, and that's one of the reasons why working with organizations like Stop Shaken Baby Syndrome is so important to me, because these are lessons that, you know, we all need to talk about together. Kaleigh, myself, them, because these are all things that we can learn, you know, help teach other people. So that's one that's just really important to me. I know that I'm really good friends with somebody who has adopted a shaken baby, and while all of his successes are wonderful, wonderful successes, he's a beautiful, beautiful young man, knowing he's never going to be the same because mom didn't walk away. It's so important that we remember that. So sorry about that long little thing there, but it's one of those. That's the bad thing about doing this show, is I get so emotional with a lot of the things that we hear. But that's also the really good thing about it, because,
yes,
you know, I get to experience things I never even knew were out there. So,
yeah. Zach, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to be emotionally in touch with things that should move us. Like,
yeah.
to know that young man should move our heart. And so you're a perfect example that you're in touch with yourself as a human. So, like, good job. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it. It's okay to hurt.
Yeah.
Why? What do you tell people when they come to you and they say, I'm broken because I'm hurting?
Ooh. It's like all of them.
Yeah.
It's all of them. Predominantly a question I get asked is there hope? Will this end? Or is this the rest of my life? Is there anything on the other side of this? And I can't say necessarily there is a switch that happens and there's another side, but there absolutely is always hope. And so sometimes that comes out in my words, but more often than not, it's the experience of someone safe like me. So It's, someone that's been so betrayed by other people, they sit in front of me and they go, wait a second, Kaleigh is not hurting me. She actually is listening. She's not telling me what to do. And it just feels good to be in her presence. That's the healing power of a therapist and another person. And so sometimes that's with words and sometimes it's just being there. Yeah.
Do people sit in front of you at times, and I'm hesitant to bring this up, but I'm going to ask anyway. Do people sometimes are they a little hesitant because they see the messaging and they're like, wait a minute, is she going to start preaching to me? Because like me myself, okay, I am not a religious person. I'm a very spiritual person. I can sit there and get annoyed at people who are wanting to preach about God to me, but I can go out to the mountains and fall apart because I'm in heaven.
Yes.
That's one of those things about me. I get onto the back of a Harley Davidson and I become a blubbering idiot. But do people? How do you help people get over that thought? Oh my God, she's going to preach to me.
Yeah, I love that you're asking this. And also, how you experience the mountains, I think, is very much how it's a gentleman, he wrote, I think, Fishing Tales in the Texas Hill Country. And like fly fishing is his connection to the divine. I think it's so beautiful that you said that. For me, it's the river. Like anytime I'm on the river, like something special happens. But outside of that, to answer your question, I don't really get that much. I don't I don't know. I guess it's how I carry myself, or how when they read what I write, they go, she's not like the people that I'm scared to be around. Because it's not about me evangelizing. Like as a therapist, it's just me about being authentically me. And I'm not going to sit in front of someone and lie. I mean, they see a cross on my neck. But I guess it's also, I usually will talk about that at the beginning. Anytime I meet with someone that in particular has experienced spiritual abuse, which is a lot more common than you think. There's so much spiritual abuse everywhere in our communities and our churches. And so I'll tell them, I say, I know it may be really scary to see a cross on my neck, but I just want to let you know, like, I'm not here to tell you anything like that. Like, I'm here to love on you and to walk with you. And we walk however you need to walk. And if you're about to walk off a cliff, I may come over there and be like, let's not walk off the cliff. Let's go this direction. But yeah, I don't really get it often. I don't know. It might just be they already know I'm not one of those people, I guess.
Well, that's really good. I just it concerns me because right now, the way that society, the way that America is right now, I don't want to say society. I am going to say America is right now. We've got right now a lot of Christians are getting really, really bad names, and I think a lot of people are afraid when they see somebody wearing a cross because they're like, oh my God, is this someone who's going to just go completely off kilter? And regardless of what position I stand, politically, it's still going to annoy me. So I wonder about that because I really think that there's a lot of damage being done by a lot of people who are doing things that don't really need to be doing them.
Yeah, you're right. There's so many people that they will say, I love people and I love God, and yet they're the first ones to throw the stone and to judge someone else. And it's everywhere. So I can't, so like to everyone listening, I can't tell you to let your guard down around someone just because they're wearing a cross or they say they love God. Like you'll know people by their fruit. And if they're hateful and they're judgmental, then you know. And
Yeah,
it's really unfortunate, Zach, because it is everywhere. It really is.
that is true. Tell us a little bit about Shine His Light LLC, please.
Yeah. So Broken Arrow Wranglers is the full nonprofit. It's a directory and platform of all kinds of experiences. And I'm one of those, but Shine His Lights, I like to say it's not my business, it's God's business, truly. But it's about shining his light into the world. Like,
And we Unfortunately, I've lost her for a minute again, but history has shown she will be right back. So let's go on ahead and continue to look. Once again, folks, this is really the important thing right here. Community Pay It Forward. What we're trying to do is we're trying to, and not just $7,500. Okay, I'd like to see this happen multiple times throughout our partnership. Let's just keep raising that money to where Kaleigh can have and bring in all these lower income women for this intensive led healing by Kaleigh. And I realized that I've been saying her name wrong all this time after she said it, but by Kaleigh. So all you have to do is scan this QR code, or let me make it a little bit easier for you and put it up here in the corner. There we go. Scan that QR code, go on the website and pick a partner that you need to shop with. You need a website built, go to one of our websites. You need coaching, go get some coaching. And, and when you get that coaching done, it will go to support Kaleigh keeping this healing going. So please make sure that you go and you help her out. Okay, Kaleigh, we lost you one last time. We lost you, but do me a favor and continue to tell us a little bit about Shine His Light LLC.
Yes, I found out why it's doing that. So anytime someone calls me, because I'm having to use my phone instead of my laptop,
Okay.
it's cutting me out. So I'm like, of course, everybody would be trying to call me. I never get that many calls. Like, what is this?
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. Telemarketers know.
So, oh, they do. But yeah, ultimately, people in the world, they don't know that they're loved and that they matter. They don't. They feel like they matter, like zero, like nothing. And so our suicide epidemic is so high.
Yep.
And so truly the goal is that people know that they are loved and that they matter. And I do that by shining his light. Like, it's the spirit in me that loves on other people. I'm nobody special. Although all my friends that hear this would be like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm just a person. And I love with my full heart. And I have specific gifts and talents. And I pour into other people. So I do that in a lot of different ways with Shine His Light. I see people for individual therapy. PTSD is my specialty. Complex PTSD. So not single incident, but like multiple incidents. And then I also design retreats to help people heal, equine group therapy. I speak, I write, I design programs. I think that's it. It's a lot of things, but yeah.
I have some people I'm going to introduce to you. I've been in contact with a couple people lately that I think introductions are definitely needed.
Zach,
I appreciate you fighting through the phone calls and the internet and everything today. I really
likewise,
appreciate.
Zach.
You know what? I'm just more than thrilled to have you in the program. I am thrilled to have you as a sister in giving, and I am just going to continue to make sure that we do what we can do to support your cause, because this is so important. This isn't, look, you're right. The suicide epidemic was brought on by this show, or is the reason for this show.
Yeah.
I didn't tell a lot of people, but my 22-hour podcast a year and a half ago in 2023, I lost somebody very, very, very close to me a week and a half before my 22-hour podcast to suicide.
Wow.
And
Zach.
It was, I sat there and I don't know how many times I just wanted to click power and walk the hell away from it. It was hard. It was hard, but it wasn't near as hard for me as it was for the other people around her. And that's one of the things that keeps me going. And that's one of the reasons why I love finding people like you, because as much as suicide sucks for you and I, knowing that there are people out there who are hurting. First off, there's people out there who are hurting and they need to hear your story. They need to hear who you are. If they don't know that you're out there, there's no way they can come to you.
That's
So
true.
that's what we want to
That's
make
so
sure
true.
that happens. We want to make sure that people understand that, you know what? Yes, you're a business person, but you're going to talk to them if they call you. You know,
Oh
this
yeah.
is important stuff. This really means, and it means a lot to me that you would come to us. And I am so proud to be a small part of what you're doing at Broken Arrow Wranglers. And Shine His Light LLC, in which we need to get the information for that up on the website as well. But
Oh
you know
yeah.
what? Again, you scan the QR code, shop. That's all we're asking you to do. You don't have to round up to the nearest dollar. You don't have to join my cult. My cult's eating Snickers and watching hockey. It's a kind of a cool cult, but you know.
That sounds not bad. That sounds
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
pretty
Hey, you know
decent
what?
one to
It's
be a
actually
part
kind of
of,
fun.
probably.
It's really kind of fun. You end up throwing a lot of stuff at the TV though. So when your team is not very good, but which
Right.
you know, past 10 years, it's been a difficult time. But
Oh my gosh.
but
Zach.
you know, look, all we want to do is support great people who are doing great things like Kaleigh. So please help support her by scanning, shopping, and just turning in a receipt. That's all we ask. How do they get a hold of you?
There's many ways. I'm kind of an old school person, so text or call tends to be the best. Unless I'm on a podcast, God forbid, please don't call me. Wait
Stop
until it's
calling.
done, I guess. But
Stop
yeah, so
cutting
on
me
the
off.
website. Oh, I know. On the website, the Broken Arrow website, Shine His Light's on there. It has all my info, my email, my phone. But 480-414-3916 is my number, and then they can email me. Yeah, right there. And that's the best way to get a hold of me. But otherwise, I'm on social media all over the place. Lots of encouragement and pictures of rivers and horses, and yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
a lot
wanted to
of
say thank you so much, Zach. One, for what you do and for sharing about her, because yes, it does hurt for us, but if any of us have ever tasted what suicidal thoughts are, I mean, they're excruciating. So if we
yeah.
can put a little bit of salve on that, so people don't have to feel like they're on fire, then we better do it.
Well, look, no one knows how tough it is until they experience how tough it is. You know,
That's right. Yeah.
and look, we just need to make sure that no one feels like there's no hope. And that's the reason why we got
Yeah.
to continue the talk. We got to continue to work together. And if we continue to work together, are we going to stop every suicide? Who knows? Not until we try. And that's what we have to do. Let's get together and let's work. But you know what? That first person is the most important person we're going to connect with. And then we can work to
That's
next.
right.
And on and on and on. So let's not discount anything. Let's work together. Let's make this happen. Anything can happen. It's j.kaleigh.rogers@gmail.com. Kaleigh, right? Kaleigh, not Kaleigh. I keep saying
Kaleigh,
it
I
wrong.
know it's a tricky one. I love my
Yep.
mom. Mom, if you're watching, I love you. But she did it to me with the spelling of my name. So I always tell people it's like Raleigh, North Carolina, but with a K. So Kaleigh. Yeah.
Okay, so j.kaleigh. Rogers,
Kaleigh.
now I
Yeah.
can't even say it at
Now I'm
all.
tripping you up.
Yeah, at gmail.com. I'm going to get off that. You can get a hold of her or Shine His Light LLC by going to the website, which is AZ for Arizona, brokenarrow.com, azbrokenarrow.com. You can also call or text at 480-414-3916. 480-414-3916. Is there anything that you would like to say before I let you go on ahead and get on with your day and enjoy your trying to figure out your internet?
Oh, I know. Just that I appreciate you and everybody listening. None of us are perfect, and all of us need something. And why not support the people around you? Because there's people there. So check around you. Have an awesome day, everybody. Zach, you rock. Thank you so much for having me on.
You bet. I'm going to probably send you a text message at the bottom of next hour. Okay.
Love
So,
it.
But anytime you have an event or anything, please come back and join us, will you?
I will. I will. Open invitation. All right.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much. Have a great day. We are going to be, I had an interview with Beverly Zeimet earlier, and wonderful lady. She's a wonderful program. And she's also got a program where she's working with, you know, how do I put this? People like my wife's people, I guess is the way to put it. You know, the mystics, the healers, the stuff like that. So, in which I know, look, as a skeptic, it's kind of hard to sit there and take serious sometimes. But I'm going to tell you this: it also works, and even if it doesn't work for you, you got to remember it does work for other people. And if it's keeping chemicals out of other people's bodies, we need to really make sure that we support it. So I'm going to be back in just a second with the interview that I recorded earlier with Beverly. So please stick with me for a few more 45 minutes or so. Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good. We understand that shopping is a necessity, and with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference for those in need. Here's how it works. Visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any partner that resonates with you. Click a picture of your receipt or invoice. Pick a mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send a receipt to us. Then all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchase, knowing you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing your story with those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. You know, in the world of networking, you get lucky and you get to meet some really cool people. And uh, I've met Beverly actually in a couple different areas. I believe, we've hit in a couple different areas. And I would like to introduce everyone to Beverly Zeimet, the Metaverse Queen, which is very interesting to me. Beverly, what is the Metaverse and how did you become its queen?
Well, the metaverse, first off, isn't owned by anybody. Nobody owns the metaverse. And that word only came into being probably coming up on 2 years now. Otherwise, it was just called augmented reality, virtual reality, XR reality, and all these types of things, right? And it was Facebook that put the word out there. So everybody thinks that Meta owns it. Well, they don't. And it encompasses, like I say, everything, including your phone, including this stream that we're on, all social medias, anything that's digital. So the digital world is also known as the metaverse. And my particular expertise is going into the virtual reality space of it, which is like what's sitting behind me. I like to call it the world of the avatar because what we do is we bring you into a space like this and duplicate what we call the brick and mortar, or this 3D world we walk around in these little bodies, right? And by moving them into the world of the avatar, changes a whole lot of things and elevates your ability to learn, to recall, to retain. And a lot of people say, well, why is that? It's because it moves you into like a degree of alpha state, which is like your alter ego. And so you can get on stages in this virtual reality space and actually build your confidence level. And another beautiful thing about the metaverse versus like what we're doing here and on some of the other softwares where you're talking in these little squares that are actually rectangles. I don't understand that part, right? And so you'll notice too with the virtual reality spaces, they are open 24/7, 365 days a year. So you can come back. So let's just say you had an event. This is a university. I love this because we work with education. And those little circles that you see with the guy with the green, which is
Yep.
obviously you right now, right? They're beam me up Scotties. If you were to click on that, it would take you somewhere else.
Right. And then you can, and this is where it gets really confusing, because if you look at each and every one of these, you get to control it. You control your avatar there, and you get to do each and every one of these. I think one of the great things about this is you can basically create like a museum
Yes.
aspect to where people can go where they need to go. So it's a great, it's a better place for them to be able to walk and investigate what they need to do, and they get they get the whole experience of everything. So it's, oh, I guess I need to have my um my cursor on the right screen, but you get to use and control the screen as you need to do it. I love the way that
Right.
the head goes up or down, however, wherever you go. So, and of course, we can see your universe there, the universe or the metaverse universe. So, or university. So, that is your realm, as they would say in the Game of Thrones. So, and of course, you can find out more there at beyondxrstudios.com, beyondxrstudios.com. Were you, this is very much gamer look, okay? Were you a
Yes.
gamer prior to getting into the metaverse?
No, I never played a game in my life, so I wasn't into that, right? And a lot, I get asked that a lot. I was looking for another place, a better place to do butts in the seats. And that's what we call when you're a facilitator and you're standing on stage, teaching, doing webinars, doing retreats, and that type of stuff. And when online courses came into being, I hit a brick wall. So I was looking for another way. And that's when I came across the virtual reality spaces, which offered what I was looking for. I had stages that I could control and invite people in. And that was prior to the Zoom era. Zoom was there, but not into the degree as it is today. And we were just really getting started into moving into this virtual reality space, having events in there. And then the Zoom era hit, and it's like, oh, where'd everybody go? It was crazy, but it's come back full circle now. So you don't need to be a gamer, but these virtual reality spaces are built on a gaming platform. Now, do you need an expensive computer? No. Do you need a big high-end gaming, video card? No. They actually have an outside, it's the computer in the sky, the computer out there in the clouds. And so you can actually have the latest, greatest technology for somewhere around 20, 25 bucks a month with shadow tech. And it just puts you up there, which is really kind of cool. And, so, but we're available. Like what you're seeing behind me, Spatial.io is one of the gaming platforms that we build on. And it's really great for starters. And that's what you just showed, prior to with the university. So it's very simple. You can see those directions that were on there, right?
Yeah.
And it's a starter package so that you can get used to that and start to build and get, go deeper and deeper with the technology. And you can use your phone and get on with just an app. So now you're able to get in virtual reality no matter where you go. So if you're a guest on somebody's stage, you can be sitting on the beach and be a guest, right? So it's really, a lot of fun. Mac computers were really a problem because Mac didn't think virtual reality was going to go anywhere. Well, they such as changed their tune since last year, right? Because and it was only PC compatible. But now we can get you on a Mac, we can get you on a phone, we can get you on a tablet, and we can get you on the PC. So there's no excuse for not being able to test the waters in here any longer. And another thing I get too, Zach, is people say, well, I deal with a lot of people that are 55 and older. They're in that baby boomer range. And yeah, they're not going to want to do this, and I let them just kind of go on. And I say, really? Well, that's interesting. Do you have any idea how old I am? And they're like, well, they don't want to say, because they're
Right.
scared. I said, no, go ahead. I'm not offended. And they always guess me somewhere around that 45 range. And I said, oh, well, thank you very much. I happen to be 74. And they almost fall off their chair. And it doesn't matter the age because there is no age in the when you're in virtual reality. There's just a lot of interaction, and everybody becomes one. You don't have to concern yourself about how your hair looks, how your makeup looks, how your clothes look, or people staring at me. It's just a whole different world, and we make you look 20 years younger, right?
Yeah.
So
Um, one of the things that drives me crazy is how people today will be sitting there and they'll show a clip of, I tried to show my child or my grandchild a dial telephone, one of the telephones, and they couldn't figure it out. And we're laughing at them. Ha ha ha, that's so funny, you can't do this. Yet every time that there's a new cell phone that comes out, I call my kid because I can't figure it out. We
yes.
never say that part. It's always, well, they can't figure out what we used to have to deal with. Well, yeah. So anybody coming to you saying, well, the older generation can't figure this out. That's so wrong, because we need to make sure that we're figuring it out, because that's the way things are going,
Right.
and what I always told people, or what I always like to tell people, is if cranes were available, do we not think that Egyptians would have used cranes? I mean, let's be honest. I think that they would have loved to have had cranes back in the Egyptian
Yeah, but see, my
days.
belief is they didn't need a crane because they could levitate things,
Yeah.
And then you didn't have to worry about having a mechanical, upset, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of theories about aliens and other things, but the point is that if they had better technologies, we would have done things different no matter what age we
Exactly.
were at. So this is one of those that you must learn what's going on now, because doing business like we did it in the 40s just isn't compatible with with the way that we do it today. You know.
Oh, that is so correct. That's outdated, and technology is getting outdated faster and faster and faster and faster. Right. And I mean, going from the first cell phone that was like back in the 80s, that were these massive things you put inside your car, and then you end up with an $800 phone bill and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
right? To now, you can just carry it in your pocket. It's a full computer. It's
Yeah.
crazy, and that has happened in a really short period of time. Well, what I can share with you, Zach, and with the audience is moving into a virtual reality space and you just experienced it, it's very simple when you get in there, and so it's easier than operating a Zoom meeting or a live stream, all these different, technical things that happen. And it's highly cost effective. So what we do is we help businesses put themselves in business in there, teach them how to have recurring monthly income, and we all could use some of that, right? And be able to build these spaces up to have a community of like-minded people, because people need people in every aspect of life. So if you're a healer or if you're a speaker, you need stages. If you're an author, you still need a stage, all these different things. But you know what? You also need someone maybe to help you do your books.
Yet I think one of the advantages, or I guess I don't think, I want to ask you this question. One of the advantages of using this program is you get to try to stand out. You get to show a little bit of your individuality in this, and you can design your programming around who you are, right? You don't
Yeah,
have to look like
exactly.
everyone else.
No, you don't. You don't. You can design your avatar however you want. You can get really elaborate on them. How much money do you want to spend on an avatar? It's out there. It's available. And your space. So what we do is we do what's called a needs assessment. So we sit you down, find out all the details of what your business is. How can we design this fit for you space that we help you create and design and give you an approximate, a cost on it. And it's one-time cost. And now you use it over and over and over and over, and you can even rent it out. And it's open 24/7. So now it becomes your walk-in website.
Yep.
So people can come and find you wherever they want.
And that again is another one of the changes, is that we're no longer in a world where business is shut down with websites, with everything that's going on. There no longer are business hours. It's time that we are in the business, but with websites and with stuff like this, your business is available to people 24 hours a day. You may
Right.
not be, but your business is available to people 24 hours a day, right?
Exactly. And that's the nice thing about it, because if you're waiting for somebody to open up and invite you to a Zoom or to like a meeting like what we're having here, it works in the moment. But what happens after the moment? So let's go look at some events, because we love doing events in here. So you can do a summit, any type of speakers event. But what makes an event more enticing? A trade show. So if you go to a convention hall, they always have a trade show. There will be people that will show up for the trade show and really could care less who the speaker is, because they like the trade shows. So they work, side by side. So what happens in this virtual reality space is we create all of that for you, and the booths are there, and then you can monetize those booths. So when you monetize those booths, it becomes their ad space, and they're going to pay you a monthly fee for that. Whoa, bingo. And guess what? When you do a big event in there and everybody's coming, listening to the speakers, walking around, checking out the trade show. And have you ever been in a trade show where you were in a booth and it was really a busy show and you wanted to go check out everybody else and you couldn't break away? And then you're like, darn, I wanted to see what everybody else was here. I experience that all the time, right? Well,
Yep.
now you don't have to worry about that, because the trade show is always there, even after the show.
Yeah. A couple times when I've been at trade shows, I'll be talking to somebody, getting to know someone, and all of a sudden I'll look over at my booth and somebody's thumbing around where I'm supposed to be. And it's like, you got that uncomfortable timing where you got to run back to your booth to talk to them.
Exactly.
And then you just never get to take and work your way back to learn more about that person. Speaking of
Yeah.
events, you have a Soul Fest Mastery event coming up.
Yes, we do. And it's actually, we're doing a meeting tomorrow night, on Tuesday night. So the last Tuesday of every month is where we have speakers coming in, and the facilitators are going to be some of the speakers because we're looking for healers. And then the other Tuesdays of the month, we have what's called an onboarding, where we like to get together with people and talk about the Soul Fest, but also help them get into the space, get their avatars, start navigating around, and start growing the space. And so the healers that I'm looking for are those that love to facilitate and want to share their modality. And there's going to be 60 different individual modalities. So nobody's a duplicate. Nobody's a spin-off of something else. They're completely different, which now gives you the ability to be the one and only for a full-on year. You'll actually get a space. You'll actually get your own space when you come in to be one of the facilitators. So you'll be able to share that and start building it and start having recurring income and enjoying what the space is all about without having to spend the big dollars to get it decked out for you because of the event, right? And so when you have something like that, the value is, it just goes, unsaid. So we are looking for healers who want to not talk about this isn't a talking about your modality. It's an actual experience. So any of the guests that are coming in, so your audience is going to actually experience the modality. You're going to take them on that journey, whatever that modality is. So it could be sound healing, it could be qigong, it could be Reiki, it could be, any number of modalities. And there's so many out there that people don't even know exist. So I wanted to bring together 60 individual ones to help people understand there is another way, there is a better way. And these are some of the options. And create a community. We talked a little bit about that. So we have a healers community that will be affiliated with each other. So it's all the foot traffic. So just think about that. You are now advertising for all the other healers, but all the other healers are advertising for you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how that's just going to explode?
Yeah, that is actually really close to what we do at Community Pay It Forward, to where we're trying to, yes, every business is the most important business we work with, but every business also understands that other people are have the same goal as you do, and that's one, making your business successful, and two, helping other people along the way. So, I mean, I think that that's something that's very important. Look, business is very important when you work together, because you can create a kinship with people who are even in the same area as you.
Well, yeah,
Because look,
exactly.
one person cannot handle everybody. And
No,
if we can make it to where everybody has a filled schedule, how beautiful would that be? And that's
exactly.
that's kind of our goal. Uh I know people are not up to it as much as you and I are, because not everybody experiences the same world as you and I do. My wife being uh, in the modality world, if you will, as a she is a crystal healer and a Reiki master. So, but can you explain to people exactly, like, your specialty is a psychic surgeon? Can you give people an idea on what that entails, and really kind of tell people more about this naturopathic way of doing things, because this is a drug-free area?
Yes, it is. And thank you for that. And kudos to your wife. Her and I are going to definitely have to get together and have a conversation. you know, i- so what does a psychic surgeon do? That's just kind of one of the many things that I do. But some people know it as a medical intuitive or a psychic. Where basically I was able to do this as a young child. Now I grew up on a farm in the Midwest, and I'll tell you, back in the 50s. and the 60s and even the 70s, there was no conversation about anything like this, so you're really on your own. And I kind of used it, because I was intuitive enough to know when a teacher was coming. I was short, so I was picked on all the time. But man, could I strategize. I was a little conniver, so to speak. And and so my way of getting back, or getting even, shall we say, is to, you know, convince people. So I guess that makes me good for sales, is to convince people, the kids in my class, to do something, disappear when I knew the teacher was coming, and they would get in trouble and I wouldn't, because I wasn't there. It has served me well as I continued on. So that psychic ability was always there, and I never lost it because I used it to my advantage. And I think a lot of us lose that because we don't understand and don't know what it is. So we're teased about it and picked on, and so we just kind of let it die. But it is coming back full circle in the metaphysical world. So being able to be a psychic surgeon, and I do teach classes like this, is when you scan the body, you look beyond the physical and you move into the interior and into the energy field, and you can actually see dysfunction. So when Houston has a breakdown inside here, it all starts out here in the field itself. And when you can recognize that, you can move the attachment so it doesn't develop into a physical upset. But if there is a physical upset, it can get reversed. And there's a lot of people out there that do that. And when you study it, you'll find these experts out there. But there's a lot of people that do this and aren't well known, because they just didn't get that word out. And again, a lot of times it has, how do I expose myself? And that's why the Soul Fest healing event is so special to my heart. I want to take the underdog and expose them because their value is there. So being able to be able to see how you can scan and know the attachment, sometimes coming from the masculine side or the feminine side of who we are. Is it the genealogy? Did it come from your father's, interaction with you, or your mother's interaction with you, and going back into the whole genealogy, like your grandparents and great grandparents and all of that? It brings up because it's in that cell memory, it's in that DNA, and you can break that pattern where you are so it doesn't move into future DNA. So these are the things that I teach in the different healing aspects. But that's only one of the many modalities that I
Yeah.
do. And most of us, you'll find, that have been in it for, like, I've been in it 45 years, you're going to find there's more than one modality out there that we do. But again, it's there, it's been there, it's the awareness, to be able to do that. And when you can open yourself up and say, okay, there's got to be a better way, because a lot of people are sick and tired of being sick and tired and pill popping, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so it's up to us to say, hey, how do I become aware of it? What better place than to make an event that someone can come and experience it without spending a whole lot of money, and figuring out which one is comfortable for them, which one is like working for them, and doing it like for pennies on the dollar, so to speak. Right?
And I would like to say this to everyone, and this is coming from someone who is very skeptical of a lot of things, okay? Which makes my relationship with my wife at times a little interesting, to say the least. But here's the truth, okay? And this is the a truth that is, that everyone should truly be able to see. You can talk yourself out of prescriptions no longer working. You can, you can make your body say, hey, Tylenol no longer works for me. You can also talk yourself into things working for you. And these techniques that we're talking about here can work for so many people because it makes you focus on where the pain is. where the discomfort is. And it is so neat how things like what Beverly is talking about, it'll make you more aware of your body. It'll make you more aware of the problem itself. And it is beyond cool how when you understand what the problem is, where the problem is generating from, how easily you can make yourself feel better at times. So all of you who are out there sitting there going, oh, this is voodoo. Oh, this is weird.
I've heard that.
Yeah, shush. And give it a minute and try it, because there's some of this that, once again, it'll really help you figure out your own body by just listening to what they say. And there's
Right.
been times that I'm sitting there going, what the hell's going on here? Do I really want to be sitting here doing this? And it's like, okay, I feel funny. I'm not sure if it really makes you feel better because you're concentrating, you're listening to someone. That's the reason why things like yoga and just all of these letting your mind go things, why they've become so popular, because it does work.
Well, and it's getting past that belief. You don't know what you don't know. But
Yep.
when you know what you know that you didn't know, what are you going to do with it? So you still have that choice to do or to not to do, because things are going to happen with or without you, whether you make a decision. But not making a decision is still making a decision.
That's
So
right.
you can be in charge of it and make that decision to go the direction you want, or you can let someone or something make the decision for you and then complain about it. But I want to ask you something, Zach.
Yeah.
What do you got going on in your left shoulder?
My left shoulder, I actually had surgery on it in last year.
Okay, because what I'm intuitively picking up is there's an issue in that left shoulder. And if you look at yourself, it's lower than, so it's not
Mhm.
in alignment. And so moving it into alignment. So these are some of the things that I do that I see in the field, right? And that left shoulder has a lot to do with your feminine side is the left side, your masculine side is the male side. So when you look at that, because it's coming from the back side, not the front side, the back side is your will center, the front side is your emotional center. So it's going back, and it all starts with the father and then goes into men in your life, down the line. So when you look at what caused that issue to come out of place, is the location of it is your ability to reach. So your shoulder, going up and down is your ability to reach, and then your hand is to grab hold of something. Or it's the opposite, where you're pushing away. And so you ask yourself, what have you been pushing away that is a heavy weight weighing on you that came out of something your father did, said, or experienced with you? And when you start to eliminate those and cut those cords, all of a sudden you'll find the alignment will come back into balance.
Wow.
So that's just a little touch of what someone, can do by seeing into those different the different fields and really explaining how it got there, why it got there, and then to remove that and feel something different.
That's wonderful. And like I said, I actually, running in the crowds that I run in now, a lot of people would be amazed at what you just said, but it's things that, I see all the time. I see
Right.
amazing people figure out amazing things, and I'm still very skeptical of a lot of it, but the truth is the truth. As you said earlier,
Right.
you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And so it is really kind of neat. And I've also opened my mind to a lot of these programs and a lot of these techniques, which makes life a lot more interesting. And to be honest with you, it's really kind of fun.
It is. It doesn't have to be fearful, and that is the first step. Is just open. Just like
Yep.
getting in virtual reality, everybody's afraid to get in there, it's like, oh, I'm going to get lost in there and I'm not going to be part of the real world. Well, we actually bring the two together very nicely. And, and again, what you said about it being out there and being a journey and being fun, it's not a scary thing. And it goes back into that trust, not only not knowing what you don't know, but it's what you experience is what is truth for you. So what is truth today may not be the same truth tomorrow, because why? Your database of information shifted. So how do you move the old data out that is no longer your true belief? And those are some of the things that these modalities help you just dump and unload all of that that's taking up all those informational spots, and it's known as your subconscious, and your brain chatter starts going about remember, and it's like learning how to communicate to eliminate and open up. So it's the same thing with the virtual reality. We were only PC compatible. Well, now we're compatible on everything because the technology changed. The new database opened up. Your database, your whole being is nothing more than a computer. Learn how to run it. Learn how to program it, right? Systems work, people don't. And your body is a system. Why did they say lymphatic system, digestive system, nervous system, right?
Yep.
It's a system that runs on a certain strategy, just like your car does, just like your computer does.
I really want people to go on ahead and check out the program that you've got coming up. You said it's the last Tuesday of every month, right?
Well, the last Tuesday of every month is when we do all the networking and bring people in and listen to speakers and stuff, right? And if they're interested, they can email me at that legacyisland22@gmail.com and just say, hey, I'm interested in joining that meeting, and we'll get you the links and all of that.
Okay, and they can also schedule a meeting with you right here on it's meet and greet and collaborate, and we will attach this link to the information on the show, so you'll have this link right here to where you can go on ahead and go and check it out. I want to thank you, Beverly, for coming on here and telling us a little bit more about this. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with everybody before we go on ahead and let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to say one thing that I always like to share with people. It doesn't matter what other people think or say about you. It only matters what you think and say about you.
You cannot, and I love that, because you cannot let what other people say run your life.
Exactly.
Leaders and strong individuals believe in themselves, no matter how wacky that belief is. You can lead yourself to believe that you are the most important person in the world. You can also lead yourself into thinking you are irrelevant. And you can't let other people tell you what to be. You have to be what you are, and you dictate what you are. That is so important to remember. It's more than important to remember.
What's your identity?
Yeah, that is
your identity.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
if you don't identify with you, no one else is going to identify with you either. And so it's very critical that you really understand your true identity and believing in yourself, and that's why collaborating and boosting each other can really help.
Yep.
Right? So that you're, excuse me, so you're past all of that so that you can be one. We're all one
Yep.
in the
Yep.
same, and so I love where the world is finally coming in the collaboration and the affiliation and the connectedness, because we as humans need humans. And when we work together, we go to a better place. So you have a choice: go down the rabbit hole and get lost, or climb the mountain and cheer from the top.
Look, you are your own author of your story. You are your own director of your story. And you, of course, can be the only one to play the main character in your story.
So be
other
your
people.
own best friend or your own worst enemy,
That's
right?
right. You know, once you've played your story, somebody else can come back and react it, but only you can be the main character of your story. So, Beverly, once again, how do people get a hold of you?
Oh gosh, they can find me all over social media,
Right.
LinkedIn, Facebook, um, YouTube, you name it, or they can, go to the Legacy Island 22 at gmail.com, go to my website, look up, on the Beyond XR Studios. If you look up Beyond the Stage podcast, I have a podcast. I would love your viewers to join me on that podcast because we have a lot of fun talking about things like we did. And Zach, you're going to be a guest on that podcast as well.
That would be great. I appreciate it very, very much. And, you know, you and I definitely need to talk a little bit more because I could see how using your program could really help our partners get the word out. You know, every single one of our partners, all they want you to do is purchase with them. And when they purchase with them, we can help other people. So that's the whole name of the game. And I love what
It's the
you're
name of
doing.
the game.
So, Beverly, I want to thank you so very much for joining us. Again, this is, look, as much as AI might scare you, it's here. It is here and it's not going anywhere. You know,
Nope.
well, it actually, that's wrong. It's only going to get more important. You know, it's going to go
And
somewhere.
it boils down to is how you use AI, and how you use the tools that are out there, the technology that is there. The technology can only work by someone who's operating it. It doesn't work on its own.
Yep.
Energy does not work that way. It
Yep.
has to have an operator. Can it be used to go south? Can it be used to go north? Yes. Well, it's up to you to decide which way you're going to take it. So you either live in fear or you live in joy.
Yep.
I prefer joy.
You know, I do too. Joy's a heck of a lot better than fear. So,
It's a lot less work.
once again, we've been talking to Beverly Zeimet, the metaverse queen. I love that. I love that. I want to thank you so very much. You can find out more about what she's doing at beyondxrstudios.com, beyondxrstudios.com. Reach out to her at legacyisland22 at gmail.com. That's legacyisland22 at gmail.com. And her calendar will be linked up to the explanation of this video. So click on that and get yourself in and talk to her. Anybody who specializes in healing modalities, this is a chance to get out there, get your story, get your specialty out there, talk to her, and let's see what we can do to try to help other people. Again, if it's community pay it forward, if it's the pack channel, that's what we're trying to do, help others. You're joining us because that's what you want to do as well. So, Beverly, thank you so very much. I appreciate the time.
Well, thank you, Zach, and thanks to the audience. And maybe we'll see you on the return trip, right?
Sounds great. Thank you. Looking to make a difference with your shopping? Visit communitypayitforward.us. Select the mission or cause you want to support and scan the QR code. You have two options. Click the first link and browse our giving partners, or use the second link to tell us what you need, and we'll find the right partners for you. Shop with these partners and keep your receipt or invoice. Next, click a picture or simply upload a picture of your receipt to the portal in every form, adding your name and email address. Your purchase now turns into a donation to the mission you've chosen. Community Pay It Forward shares your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all. I truly had a lot of fun today. Met both of those ladies really for the, other than some networking, met both of those ladies for the first time today and got to have conversations with them today. And that makes this a very, very good day. Once again, you're talking to people who have wonderful, wonderful stories, who are working real hard to make things better for other people. The reason why we added, in which we don't usually add things like Beverly's program, 2 Footprints Forward, but I wanted to make sure that those of alternative modalities had that information before tomorrow night. We will be including the link to that meeting that'll be happening tomorrow night at, I believe it's 6 p.m. Mountain Standard, but I'm not positive on that. I will make sure of that. But I will be adding that link to the description of the show. Hey, we're going to ask you to please like, subscribe, comment. Tell us what you'd like to see. Tell us who you'd like to see. Introduce us to people. Let's get the message out there. We really need people to come and tell their story. If they're able to come and tell their story, we're going to be able to share their story. One last thing, I need your help. Community Dare to Care is hemorrhaging. We are in trouble of shutting it down, and I do not want to do that. This QR code can desperately help us out. There's 2 ways you can help us out. Simply shop, click, and pick. Actually, that's my preferred way if you would do that. Shop with any of our partners, click a picture of your receipt, and pick Helping Community Dare to Care. Send in that receipt, attach it to this QR code. We get a portion of whatever you send to us. The other way, on this same form, I hate that my camera does that, but I'm sorry, I can't do nothing unless apparently I just sit still. So move my hand real quick. Okay, there we go. But the other way to do it is there is a PayPal link that you can help by donating. This will help make sure that our free to all outreach stays free to all. It's very important to me, to Adrian, and to the people in our community that we're able to give away these items at no charge. Okay, look, I don't want to badmouth anybody in thrift stores, but when you outprice the people that you're supposed to be helping, you're not doing anybody any good. Community Pay It Forward and Community Dare to Care is here for anyone who needs our help. I want to once again thank I'm going to screw it up. Kaleigh Rogers. And make sure that you once again have heard their QR code, Broken Arrow Wranglers. Just wonderful, wonderful, beautiful young lady who's really trying to do a lot of good for a lot of people. And Beverly Zeimet, who is trying real hard to help your business, one, and help the people who are alternative healing specialties. So give them a call if you can. Tell them you heard them about it on Community Pay It Forward. Folks, if you need someone to talk to, get a hold of Kaleigh. She is available to you. Okay. You heard her say it. You know what? It is a business. She does need to talk, she does need to charge. But if there's somebody that you need to talk to, call her. Consider talking to her before you do anything to hurt yourself. You can text her or call her at 480-414-3916. 480-414-3916. I want to thank you for joining us this week on Footprints Forward. I had to remember what show I was doing because the Zeimet interview kind of threw me off here. So I want to thank you very much for joining us on Footprints Forward. We need your help. We need your support. Please consider becoming a sponsor. Please consider coming to tell your story. The QR code that you see now, because I love the QR codes, the QR code that you see now will allow you to come on and tell your story. And your story will help somebody else who is in a position that you once were. Your story can help somebody get around. Please remember to love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Folks, remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go alone when we all come together. My name is Zach Clayton, President and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. Thank you. And we'll see you next week.